Hello, Ibanagans! Magandang umaga, magandang gabi sa inyo. Kamusta lahat? Kumusta ang lahat? Kunasi kamu. Kamusta po kayong lahat? Ayan, it's coffee time. Medyo anong oras na ba? It is 7:38. Medyo late tayo ng 8 minutes. So we're just gonna wait for the rest of you to join our daily live today. And we're actually going to continue the topic that we had yesterday, 'di ba? Ang kahapon ang pinag-usapan natin is what if you find out that your kid, 'di ba, ay nakabuntis or nabuntis at a very young age. So there's a lot of exchanges of ideas that we had yesterday. So ngayon naman, it's a continuation of that topic kasi meron isa sa inyo or isa sa mga parent yesterday who brought up the topic so na nakita niyong naka-post ngayon dito sa video as part of our conversation for today. But before we start, I'd like you to write something on the comment section. Tell us where you are and I'm going to greet you. Kukumustahin ko kayo, isha-shout out ko kayo. So, sige, comment na kayo dyan sa comment section, okay? Habang inaantay natin ang iba nating mga kaibanagans to join our live today. Alright. So one quick second, magsa-set up lang ako ng ibang information dito. Alright. Edit tayo dito. Alright. Yan. Kamusta kayong lahat? Hi, good evening, Jan Paul. Magandang gabi sa'yo. Hintayin lang natin ng iba na mag-join. Medyo inaantok. Maaga ba kayo natulog? Hi, Maria Antonia Salmingo. Magandang gabi. Good morning sa amin dito. Kagising ko lang. And katatapos lang din namin maglakad-lakad ni Louie. Okay, type mo na kayo sa comment section. Babatiin ko kayo. Shout out ko kayo. Part 2 to ng conversation natin or ng topic natin from yesterday. So, very interesting kasi I wanna hear from you. Naku, umaga na naman kaya tumatama na naman yung allergy ko. So, wait lang. Ayan. Kahapon, I think nag-live ako kagabi. Just to share a bit yung mga pinaggagawa ko kahapon. Naglabas-labas kami. Pumunta kami sa saan ba nagpunta? Pumunta kami ng Costco, napunta kami ng IKEA kasi naghahanap kami ng parang, cabinet na puwede namin ilagay sa kwarto namin kasi medyo hindi kulang yung space para sa aming mga gamit na dinala dito sa Canada. So, para medyo, makausad na kami, nagsimula na kaming magbibili ng mga gamit na kailangan. We still have a lot of organizing to do kasi siyempre bagong lipat kami sa ibang bahay. So, tignan pa natin, 'di ba? Okay. Type lang ng comment sa comment section and then, shout out ko kayo while waiting for the others to join. Mukhang busy pa magluto yung mga mommy natin ngayon, ah. Nakakapagtaka, nasaan kayo? Bakit kaya wala masyado ang mga mommies natin ngayon at mga popshies at mga regular viewers natin? Kasi, ano araw ba nga? Today is Wednesday. Blessed morning din, Ma'am Verly. Hi! Hi, Lynn. Kamusta? Hanap ako. Wait lang, ah. No. Siyempre, alam niyo naman, every morning, ang aking malaking ilong. Set up na ako ng live sa TikTok. Ayan. Naka-live din ako sa TikTok. Hello. So write something on the comment section para mabati ko po kayo isa-isa. Pasensya na kayo dito sa TikTok. Wala akong, what do you call this? Cellphone stand pa. So nilagay ko lang siya somewhere. Kaya, ayan. Hello, Ma'am Marizel Ledesma. Hello sa... Diba? Yeah, so we're just waiting for the others to join para masimulan natin yung topic natin. Blessed morning, Ma'am Verly Justiada, who's watching from UK. Grabe si Ma'am Verly. She's watching on YouTube and she's also watching sa Facebook. Sabay-sabay, 'di ba? Ayan na. Hello kay Ma'am Maria Salmiago, kay John Paul Miranda at sa iba pa nating mga viewers. So, kahapon yung pinag-usapan natin kasi what if you find... Hi Ma'am Amaria Green, 'di ba? Kamusta po? Magandang umaga sa inyo. Kahapon napag-usapan natin paano kung what if you find out that your kid was pregnant, 'di ba? Or may nakabuntis or kung ano sabi niya, tawag dito, kung nalaman mo na pregnant yung anak mo or nakabuntis, 'di ba? So, a couple of answers talaga kahapon was maganda talaga yung conversation natin kahapon kasi I found out that a lot of you as parents are very open-minded. Talagang narinig ko sa inyo na karamihan sa inyo gusto niyo talagang suportahan yung anak niyo, and bottom line is nawala na yung parang culture natin na, "Oh, kailangan mong panagutan, kailangan mong pakasalan yung anak ko." Parang nawala yung gano'ng topic of conversation. Ngayon parang sabi ninyo na you're more open to accepting what happened, and at the same time, you're giving the right support and discipline discipline to your kid. But at the same like by parang sinasabi niyo na kailangan maging responsible na sila dun sa naging action nila, pag-aaralin niyo pa rin sila. Pero yun nga, yung kasal is ano siya, out of topic. Hindi niyo siya pag-uusapan, 'di ba? So sa mga nanonood ngayon sa TikTok, yun yung conversation namin kahapon ng ating mga viewers sa Facebook at tsaka sa YouTube. So this is the first time that I'm going live simultaneously on Facebook, YouTube, and on TikTok. Kaya nga gusto kong tanungin naman yung mga parents ngayon kasi somebody brought up yesterday na kailangan daw yung mga parents ngayon are more open to the conversation about sex education sa kanilang mga anak. Kaya nga ngayon naman ang gusto kong tanungin sa inyo, how open are you to having that conversation with your kid? How liberal are you or how conservative are you when it comes to this topic? Pero meron lang nag-comment dito, si Ma'am Maria, Lianeza, sabi niya, "Hindi pa kami open." Hi Lady Clau, kamusta? Thank you for watching sa mga nagjo-join sa ating TikTok live. So yun yung question ko sa inyo ngayon. Ayan, how open are you to this conversation or napag-uusapan niyo na ba ng inyong mga anak ang sex education? Or are you now telling them what to do in advance para hindi mangyari yung, nangyari nga sa usapan natin kahapon? So, it's more on preventive measures. While I also understand that some of you are very conservative, especially in the Philippines, majority of majority of our population are Catholic or Christians, 'di ba? We say na we are a Catholic nation in Asia. So, or Christian nation in Asia. Kaya siguro hindi gano'n ka-open-minded pa ang karamihan sa mga magulang sa ganitong conversation. Tingin niyo, 'di ba? Hindi niyo pa siya napag-uusapan, hindi niyo pa siya inuupuan, hindi niyo pa ba ino-orient ang inyong mga anak kung ano ang yung ganitong pag-uusap? Wait lang ha. Sabi ni Ma'am Cristel Espinas, hello Ibanag. Sabi ni Ma'am Verly, Sir Ben, yan ang problem sa atin, sarado din ang isip nila kaya mabagal lang ang pag-unlad dahil old school talaga. Okay, so, um, yun siguro Ma'am Verly, yun nga yung sinasabi ko, it's not really being old school, it's probably the upbringing and the type of religion that you were brought up to. Kasi for most Christians or Catholics, talagang usapan is walang mangyayari, walang magkikis or whatsoever hangga't hindi ka kinakasal. Pero hindi kasi yun yung reality, 'di ba? And alam niyo naman even si Jose Rizal at saka si, um, ang tawag dito, sino ba yung naging girlfriend niya? 'Di ba nag-kiss din naman sila sa balkonahe ng kanilang bahay, 'di ba? So, panahon pa ni Kopong-Kopong yun. So, ibig sabihin, "Hi Manalo MB, kamusta? Nag-uusap lang tayo ngayon about" kanina ilong ko. So yun, um yun na nga, gaano ba ka-open-minded ang mga magulang katulad ninyo? Kayo ba ay napag-uusapan niyo na ito kapag kayo ay nagkakape, kayo ay nagdi-dinner, kayo ay nagbe-breakfast kasama ang inyong mga anak? Kasi alam niyo, kuwento ko lang sa inyo, ha. Ako kasi lumaki hindi kami lumaki kasama ang mga magulang namin because at a very young age, yung father ko, he died when I was 12 and then, I was 16, yung mother ko naman ay nag-abroad na. So, basically, kami-kami lang magkakapatid ang magkakasama. I'm more on the liberal side, not on the conservative side. So, I always tell them that they should not act on it or wag nilang gagawin or don't do something or um, don't engage with temptation, 'di ba, yung gano'n. Wag mo siyang papatulan or wag mo siyang bibigyan ng opportunity, 'di ba? Kasi talagang, hindi namin siya pinag-uusapan dapat. However, I have 3 sisters, puro babae sila. And when, I took up pre-nursing, so nagiging usap-usapan talaga 'yan and nung time na yun, I was in first year college. Yung mga tao ngayon are starting to hindi pa gano'n ka-open, but people are starting to talk about sex, and doing it with their boyfriends and girlfriends. Yun yung conversation namin ng mga classmates ko. Although I haven't done it, 'di ba? Laking probinsya kasi ako, 'di ba? Tapos pumunta ako ng Maynila. So yun yung isa sa nagiging topic of conversation namin ng mga friends ko and then I asked them, "Oh, what did you do? Ano ka ba? Nag-protection ka pa?" And most of my friends kapag nagkukuwento hindi sila nagpro-protection. And then came one time, sabi ko nga, yung isang friend ko siyempre natakot siya kasi na-delay siya. Delayed pala ang aking friend sa, hello mama mo tunay, delayed pala si friend. So, alam niyo 'yun, 'di ba? Siyempre yung mga kababaihan ay medyo kinakabahan kasi delayed. Sabi ko, "Ano ba yung delayed?" Ganyan, ganyan. Siyempre nagkaroon na kami ng subject ng anatomy and physiology. So, yun pala delayed daw siya. So, she was already worried na baka, ma-pregnant siya. So, I told her, "Why don't we buy a pregnancy test and check for yourself?" So, I check yung friend ko, and then it turned out to be negative, which is good news. Otherwise, baka bugbugin siya ng nanay niya, 'di ba? So, hindi na siya sabi sabi so yung usapan nga na, "Oo, hindi ka na dapat mag-worry," sabi ko. But ang nag-cause ng worry niya is gumawa siya ng bagay na, unprotected. Kaya nung nangyari yun, naging topic of conversation na nga namin siya ng mga kapatid ko. And my sisters before were from, what do you call this? Not traditional, eh, ano ba, they're very conservative and reserved kasi nga probinsyano kami. So, sabi ko, kinuwento ko, "Alam niyo ganito nga yung nangyari sa friend ko." Yun yung napag-usapan namin. So, sabi ko, "What do you think about it?" Kasi sabi ko, kung magbo-boyfriend kayo or magge-girlfriend kayo, kailangan, ah, mag-proteksyon kayo. So, sabi ng mga kapatid ko, "Ano ba kuya, ano ba yung mga pinagsasabi mo? Tigilan mo nga yung pagsasabi mo ng ganyan." Bakit naman? Bakit ko naman pipigilan yung sarili ko? Nagwa-warning na ako sa kanila. Sabi ko, "If you ever try to do it, kapag sinabi niyo" so, iba nag in the city ay isa, sawa, ano sabi ni Manalo MB? Sabi ko na, "If you ever try to do it, kailangan magproteksyon kayo." 'Di ba? Pero sabi ko, or don't do it at all, 'di ba? Wag niyo kayong mag-a-attempt kasi baka 'pag ginawa niyo, pagsisihan niyo pa, ayun. So, hi Ma'am Glenda Pura who's watching from, ah, Gubat, Sorsogon. Ano alam niyo kayong mga classmates ko, bakit kaya hindi kayo mag-join, 'di ba? Si Patrick mag-join ka nga at saka itong si Mama mo tunay, baka mas maganda kapag mag-join ka, 'di ba? Invite ko si multi-guest, Mama mo tunay, at tapos itong si Nars o Nars Pat. Tignan natin kung ano sasabihin ng mga kabaklaan. Wait lang ha.
Hi, Banag, we miss you. Hi, classmate. Hi!
Hello. Sana nag-open kayo ng camera ninyo, 'di ba? Kasi gusto ko kayo gusto ko kayo ang taas ng hairline ko dito sa TikTok, nakakainis naman.
Sino, ano yan? Are you on a live sa Facebook?
Oo, naka-live ako sa Facebook. So, yun nga yung question kasi. Ganito kasi yung conversation namin ng ating friends from Facebook yesterday. How would they feel kapag nalaman nila na ang kanilang anak ay nabuntis at a very young age? Tapos or nakabuntis, either nabuntis or nakabuntis. And what I learned from our viewers yesterday was, sabi nila, they're more accepting of whatever the situation is. Kasi they feel that the child needs more support than ever. And at the same time, hindi na siya tulad ng conventional family where they will push for marriage. What they thought was, if it ever happens, then they're going to support the kid but they're not gonna push for kasal or marriage kasi hindi pa ready yung bata, and at the same time they don't want to risk yung madalian tapos at the end of the day it will fail. Ngayon, one of my viewers yesterday said na it's important that you begin the topic of sex education with your kids. However, sabi ko, there are parents who are very liberal and there are also parents who are very conservative. 'Di ba? So, sa tingin nyo, kayo, mama mo tunay because ikaw ay isang ina, how do you feel about having a sex education or uh, this kind of conversation with your kid in the future? Kasi may anak ka na eh.
kasi I'm very ready to talk about it dahil ako, sa mata ng ibang tao, nung nabuntis ako at the age of 21 ako nung nabuntis ako they think bata pa ako nung nabuntis ako. Well, in fact, for me, during that time, I think it was an okay age. Pero for me to discuss the birds and the bees with my kids, I think, siguro bibigyan ko na lang ng age, like mga 12, 13. Pag 12, 13, I would talk about it with them. Pero yung mga below 10 years old, hindi ko ako ready makipag-usap sa kanila about that kasi I want them to think about being a child. Mag-enjoy muna sila maglaro, maging bata. Pero as papasok na sila sa teenage years, definitely, I would discuss, sex with them. Hi, Joey.
Hi, Joey. So how about you, Nurse Pat? Kasi ikaw nurse ka eh. How do you feel about having that conversation and you're very active in church? If you ever talk to the young... Kasi, di ba, nasa youth ministry ka. So is this ever a part of your conversation? Like, is it... ano ba yun? Contraceptives, sex education? Do you tell them what to do? Do you tell them what not to do?
Siguro dahil very conservative pa rin talaga ang simbahang Katoliko. Medyo mahirap yung ganitong klaseng topic. Kaya lang ako kasi, aside from being a youth leader, dun din ako sa health professional, mas nangibabaw sa akin yung pagiging health professional ko rather than being a Catholic youth leader. So mas importante sa akin na mas magabayan sila yung kung ano yung realidad na nangyari yan. And I agree with mama mo, no, na yung age ng 12 pataas, yung talagang papasok sila sa teenage years, yun yung right time for me para kahit pa paano mag-introduce ka ng paunti-unti about sex education. Kasi yun yung time na yung pausbong na yung kabataan nila, nagiging very curious sila. Kesa sa marinig nila or mapanood nila sa iba or malaman nila sa iba yung mga ganitong klaseng bagay, it is much better kung mag-start yun sa inyong family.
Ayun. So we are joined by Doc Cat, di ba? Hi, Doc Cat. First time ko mag-live, nakasama si Doc Cat.
Yeah, hello.
Yun nga, Doc Cat, our conversation ngayon is parang how open are parents now, or when do you think is the right time to talk about sex education with your kids?
Well, the funny part is that most parents don't even know how to talk about it. Sa totoo lang, because siguro kasi, di ba, hindi lang kasi simbang Katolikong problema or issue or religion, because they themselves also were not taught properly by their own parents, di ba, or ganun. Or there's like notion din na if you talk to their kids about it, it will encourage them to do it. Pero that's the thing parang parents don't know how to start a conversation. So I think, diba, gaya na sabi ni Patrick, diba, when you start the conversation at the age of like 12 or even earlier, so totoo lang, Patrick, kasi sometimes as early as 9. Okay? Diba, girls have puberty and some kids as early as 9 years old, right?
Oo, maagang menor.
Well, hindi lang maaga menor, maaga yung breast development. And from point of view of a girl, okay, how do you deal with that, right? Those kinds of stuff. And the thing is, when besides forming the children to think positively about sex, dapat din yung mga magulang din should also undergo the same, I guess, hindi naman training pero I guess change of mind to teach their kids. Pero hindi lang what not to do, pero what to do about positive sexuality. Kasi ang problema sa atin kasi, lagi sasabi kasi, bawal ganito, bawal ganon. Diba kids, ano na lang pwede, diba? You cannot, you can't keep on telling kids what not to do without giving them something else to do. And I think we have to change the discussion about that.
And what do you feel is the reason or what impacts yung mindset ng mga magulang not talking about it? Is it, sabi mo nga kanina na the parents don't even know how to start the conversation. How should they start the conversation?
That's the thing. They have to, okay, aminin na lang natin that a lot of our old generation, kahit na nga tayo, mga millennials or like that, we don't have a positive view on sex, on our bodies and everything. So I think before beginning the conversation with them, kailangan I guess, i-heal yung kanilang mga negative notions about these things. And I think in some cases na nga, kung mga basic trauma,
Mhm.
diba? Aminin natin kasi a lot of what the older generation endured in terms of sexuality comes from a place wherein repression, even abuse. And I think before they can talk about it positively to Gen Z or Gen Alpha or younger generations, they have to also be healed or cope also with their own baggage about it. So I actually would really love to normalize adults going to sex therapy.
Mhm.
Totoo lang. Diba? Parang normalize this for marriages, normalize this for men and women na single, but then they're dating around. Normalize this for for LGBTQ plus couples kasi ang daming baggage na hindi mo pwede dalhin sa next generation. And I think that this should be para sa tingin ko lang ha, parang I believe this should be like mandatory in family planning classes that they give to premarital seminars. Sa totoo lang. Kasi dumaan na ako doon diba? So parang I think that they should learn to, or parang give that opportunity na parang this is how you can discuss this is how you can go for to talk about these things. Diba? So parang we need to give adults and parents the avenues to also heal their views about sexuality before they can impart these to the next generation.
Just to add with what Doc Kat said, actually she said the right word na normalize. Kasi we have already this taboo notion about sex with our culture, as Filipinos, na dapat ganito, bago ganito, ito yung kailangan pagdaanan, bago, and I think I agree with what you say na dapat we introduce sex, though it's an uncomfortable topic, but at the end of the day, it's part of life So they should be able to accept, I mean, parents in general, ako as a parent as well, we should be ready to address questions when it comes to yung katawan ng mga anak namin. Like ako sa akin, ang tinitignan ko more of encouraging more sa body positivity para sa mga anak ko, that they learn to love themselves first, they learn to take care of their body before we move forward to talking about sex. Like when they start engaging with other people and when they're ready and what are the repercussions, just to mentally prepare them, emotionally prepare them. That in sex kasi, how I see it, there are so many things that could be involved. Feelings, if you fall in love with a person, or if not, you exchange whatever, your bodily fluids with someone who doesn't know how to take care of themselves. Na dapat okay lang sa atin, okay lang sa aming mga parents pag-usapan to. But at the end of the day, it starts with encouraging muna yung body image ng mga anak namin before we continue. Kasi in Asian culture, then there are some cultures where, if you are at this weight or if this is how you look like, nangyayari din yon, yung bata nagkakaroon ng low self-esteem. So naghahanap ng some form of validation. And sometimes that form of validation comes from sleeping around because they don't have a correct understanding on how to love themselves.
Mhm.
Parang that's how I see it.
And kasi we are a very I feel na the Philippines is still a very conservative nation, no, because of religion nga. And parang nangyari, do you feel that I don't see it as a topic of conversation kasi on those who are Catholic, pero do you feel na ano ba siya, yung pagiging Catholic ba ng majority ng Pilipino ay nakaka-impact kung bakit hindi tayo makausad sa conversation ng same sex, contraceptives, and yung pagiging pagkakaroon ng safe sex, tapos yung usapin ng abortion and all those stuff. Do you feel na malaki talaga yung contribution nun?
Sorry. Could you repeat the question?
Ang labo ko ba?
Mag-break up kasi
Oo.
Choppy ka kasi.
Sabi ko na yung pagiging mostly Catholic or Christian ba ng Philippines is a factor kung bakit hindi tayo nakakausad sa ganitong klase ng conversation.
I think religion and society might be a factor kasi 'di ba yung tinuturo ng simbahan is you have sex once you get married. So yan laging ini-instill that the only time for you to have sex is once you get married, 'di ba? But that makes people feel guilty with celebrating or exercising, having sexual relationships. So, that could be a factor. Pwede din kasi yung society mismo natin, medyo judgmental. Yung mga tipong, ay, pag babae, ay, slut, ay, oh my God, you slept around. Ay, kadiri. Pero pag lalaki, ay, oh dude, it's so cool, grabe, you slept with her. So, ang daming naging influence or factor.
Ikaw, Pat.
Actually, kasi it's not just Catholics or Christians, okay? Remember, we also have Muslim populations,
Mhm.
okay? And sa totoo lang ha, medyo mas mahigpit din, okay? Ang Sharia law when it comes to these things. In fact, in some quarters of the Muslim community, di ba, a woman cannot show most of herself, right? And it's a bit difficult to reconcile the more modern body image, body positivity thing with a community wherein yun pa rin ang norm for some families, right? So, hindi lang Christians or Catholic community ang may ganitong klaseng issue or challenge with talking about sex and body positivity, diba? So, pero I think, universal, no matter what religion you are in, it's talaga the society's double standard, diba?
Oo.
And and I keep on saying, even when you get older, it's like you just can't win kung babae ka eh. Like for example, older women, like people do not think that older people can enjoy sex. Surprising, no? This is true for no matter where you go. And how do you deal with that kind of baggage, diba? So parang meron akong mga pasyente na menopausal, punta sa akin, parang, Doktora, nag-iiba ng katawan ko, ano gagawin ko, diba? And, buti na lang medyo mas open ako or I know where to get some stuff that could help them, diba? But imagine kung ibang tao yan, diba? Sabihin, ay, okay lang yan, diba? Instead of acknowledging that this woman still wants to enjoy her intimate life with her husband or her partner, diba? So it's not just religion, it's also how we look at enjoyment, pleasure, even aging, diba?
On the sa medical field ba, Doc? I wanna ask Patrick to kasi si Patrick nag-health teaching to eh. Is this now a common or common topic of conversation with your patients? Or napag-uusapan na ba siya mas madalas ngayon?
Siguro si Patrick muna. Pat, Patrick, are you still there?
Oo. Mas open na ngayon yung ganitong klaseng topic with patients, especially kami kasi sa ward mas nakakausap namin yung mga pasyente and mas okay naman galing din minsan sa amin yung mga ganitong klaseng informations. And unlike kasi before na nahihiya-hiya yung mga tao na tanong yung mga ganitong klaseng bagay, but napansin ko ngayon mas open sila dahil na ang dami na nga nangyayari sa society natin, and sa tingin ko malaking factor na rin yung yung pagiging open-minded ng ilan sa mga tao. Kagaya ng isang comment dito na isang factor yung pagiging old school, pero kahit na yung iba old school, yung iba naman kasi somehow nagiging liberated na rin.
Diba? And kasama din dun kasi, diba, the fact that roles are changing, gender roles are changing, and more providers are open now to talking about this and that. Kasi diba, I mean, dati sa panahon ng mga parents natin, diba, pag pupunta ka sa OBS sa gyne, diba, siya pagbuntis lang, diba, but now we're normalizing providers are also going there for other issues, diba? Hindi lang dahil sa pagbuntis, pero, other stuff down there, diba? And we also need to normalize men's health in. And it's a good thing that in the medical community, we're trying to get more people to seek help just for wellness' sake, hindi lang kung may problema, diba? At doon lumalabas yung mga ibang mga, small stuff about, sex and intimacy, which we wouldn't discuss normally, but then it's a factor din sa wellness ng tao. And I'm glad we're taking that paradigm these days.
All right. So those are very good inputs, guys. So any final before we leave for today, any final advice to our viewers about this sex education topic. Let's start with Mama Motunay.
I guess sa mga listeners who are parents like me, I have 2 kids. They're still young, 9 and 7. I think we have to start mentally preparing ourselves muna as parents to be the first one na maging source ng information when our kids start asking questions about their bodies and how they should be treated. And eventually, when they are ready to, engage in sexual activities, how do we prepare them for that? And I think it's not wrong that we talk about it because bilang magulang, we are there, tayo yung sasandigan pa rin, tayo pa rin yung magiging pillar nila of support. So the best way is to be open to the possibility that when they are ready to ask those questions or when they ask that questions out of the blue, we know how to answer that. And we should also learn to encourage them how to love themselves physically, mentally, emotionally, so that they don't resort to callous decisions when it comes to engaging in physical activities, if you know what I mean. If it's about sex.
Mhm.
Other than that, we are the best emotional support that they can have, and I think we shouldn't deprive them or make them feel bad for asking those questions. So yun lang.
Thank you, Mama Motunay. Pat?
Ano ba?
Siguro sa akin, coming from a youth leader, no? Alam naman kasi natin, ilan sa mga kabataan medyo nahihiya magtanong sa magulang nila. Agree din naman ako na kinakailangan manggaling sa bahay. Yung lahat ng informations about sex education, di ba, slowly. Pero as a youth leader, kinakailangan ipakita mo rin sa mga bata na you are there when they need certain questions. Kasi alam naman natin, yung iba dyan, may mga walls sila with their parents, or minsan nahihiya talaga sila sa ganitong klaseng questions. And mas mainam na nakikita ko kasi sa ilan sa mga youth na na very intimate na talaga sila, even in public, minsan even in churches. So kinakailangan alam mo kung paano mag-reinforce ng informations na hindi sila mahihiya or hindi sila mo-offend. And in a way na parang mas makukuha mo ang kanilang tiwala para just in case na kinakailangan ka talaga nila to some certain questions, you are there to answer. Sa akin.
I like it, no? Pero I feel that before you even make it as a conversation, especially if you're not the kid's parent, that you build that certain rapport. Kasi parang medyo awkward ata na bigla mo siyang i-bring up kung wala kayong parang connection ng tao, no?
Mm-mm.
Doc, your final message to our viewers? Thank you pala sa pag-join.
Okay. So it's like no matter what age you are or like that, good sex ed begins with talking about respect and consent. Because these are things you need in a sexual relationship. These are things you also need for positivity and protect yourself. And for sa mga parents, yun ang pinakauna di ba? When you teach your kid how to respect themselves, respect other people, how to understand anong consent, ano yung pwede, ano yung hindi pwede, when no means no. Diba? So yun ang mga super basic na kailangan yan before you talk about the birds and the bees, kung tutuusin, diba? Before you talk about how to do it, you have to talk about the values and the communication that should come with it. And that should begin at an early age, even before they are old enough to start asking about where babies come from. As early as, toddler age, you can teach them when no means no, what a yes means, and how to respect each other's bodily autonomy. So kaya yan. And that's, I think, something that is very basic for parent-child relationships, not just sex ed.
Ayun. O, di ba? So, ang dami natin natutunan. Buti na lang pala, nag-open ako ng TikTok ko para may additional information kesa naman ako na lang yung kumuda. Mag-stay lang kayo dyan, chichika pa tayo. Pero magpapaalam na po ako sa mga nanonood sa Facebook. Thank you very much for joining us today. Please continue to follow Ibanagan the City on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter. Ag-alwad kayo kanayon, Apo. Bye!
Alwan!